right, well, we made it back to the campsite. We are done with riding for today. We did about 60 miles. It was a fantastic ride. Beautiful Southern California, just couldn't have asked for a better day. So we're back here. This is the site, obviously. We've got the tent pitch back there. We've got my little area for the book reviews, all of my shit on the picnic tables. If you can't see back there, there's like a line that I hang my clothes on and stuff. It's super nice to keep things off the ground and dry things and whatnot. So that's pretty much the site. I can give you guys a full tour a little bit later, but I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the sun. I gotta shower off, and what I mean by that is just got like a camp shower hanging right there. And I'm going to just kind of, rinse off, get some drier clothes on because I'm drenched in sweat right now. And then we should be all set to make some dinner, do the book review, and go to bed, which I am very excited for because I am tired as hell. That ride was, that was long. But it was a great ride. Okay, so pretty much covers all the bases. Let's go ahead and get to it. Fuck them bugs. All right, so here we are. We've got the fire ripping, a Game of Thrones on the Kindle, a nice beverage next to me, and life is pretty good. So let me go ahead and just give you guys my thoughts on this book. And then I think I'm gonna read a little bit and then make some dinner, but won't bring you around for all that. So A Game of Thrones, first book in A Song of Ice and Fire. And let me tell you, going into this, I didn't think I would enjoy it, but 10% of the way in, almost 100 pages, I am loving this book. I hope I love the rest of the series. I think I will. I heard it literally only gets better, but A Game of Thrones is already one of my favorite fantasy books I've ever read. Not the greatest, not my favorite of all time, but the best way I can describe this book is that it's special. This book is just special. I think that what I love most about it is how serious it takes itself. Every line of dialogue has meaning. Any description or detail that's included usually has meaning to it. You get lore dumps when you want them / need them. So you're pretty caught up fast. Like right when you start the novel, you get thrown into the world, but you get acclimated quickly. Martin tells you a lot of what's going on, and I really appreciate that. Now, I know some people don't like that as much, but personally, these fantasy worlds are already so complex that it's like, why not give us a little bit of an explanation? You're literally throwing us into a world that you created that doesn't exist, and it's like, okay, just figure it out. I don't personally like that. There are some exceptions, and I know a lot of readers do love that, but personally, I like when the world is explained, and so far, Game of Thrones is doing a really fantastic job at that. Characters are amazing. I think my favorite is Jon Snow right now. Tyrion Lannister hasn't come up a ton, but he's also up there for me. Really enjoyed like the tiny little bit that I've seen from him so far in these first 100 pages. Arya Stark, surprisingly, was really funny and interesting, and I liked her personality. So these characters, and Ned Stark, big fan of him as well. So, oh, and I mean, Dany also, even though she's only appeared once, I did enjoy her chapter. That was good as well. So I think that the character work in this novel is probably one of its strongest pieces. You really feel like you know these characters, like they're living, breathing people. And it's not just down to their description or whatever else. Like every person is different and unique in their own way. And I have seen the first season of Game of Thrones, but I haven't, like I didn't really care for it that much back then. So I have bits and pieces of it still in my mind, but essentially I remember a few of the characters, and it's crazy to think that if I had just read this off the rip, first time, no TV show, nothing, those characters that I'm reading are pretty much one-to-one in my head to what they actually are in the show. Like, that is, which is just mind-blowing. Like, the descriptions are that good, and you can picture them that well. And then it turns out that, oh, this is what they look like in the show, and that's like the exact image I had in my mind. So that's been really fun. Pardon me, I'm gonna crack this. So that's been super fun, reading these, figuring out who is who, diving into these characters, getting deep with their personalities. It's just been incredible. I've honestly loved it. And I'm not even, I mean, this story, I can't really say the story has really hooked me, because the first 100 pages, there isn't much of a story. It's just not, it doesn't seem like it's a super story-driven novel to start with, at least. So obviously that will probably change. I don't know how to describe it. It's more like world and character-driven. It's definitely character-driven, just because we're seeing so much happening, revolving around the characters, but not actually really to the characters themselves. So it's like the world's playing out. We're getting an idea of how the pieces of the puzzle are going to fit in together, but we just don't really know when it's all going to click. Like, a lot of chess pieces are being moved and placed across the board. So in my opinion, that's probably the biggest maybe hurdle for some people getting in, is they might not feel like the story is strong enough. But if you do love those kind of slow burns, and I even hesitate to call it a slow burn, because a lot of slow burns that I find when I read is that, they're boring. Like the pages do not fly. And I wouldn't say that these pages fly. I'm not like itching to get to the next one, but it's definitely caught my attention, and I definitely look forward to reading, which is awesome. I personally don't really love when I read a novel and I'm not really looking forward to it, hence my review of The Devils. That's how I kind of felt with that novel. But A Game of Thrones so far has just been really, really fun to sit down with and take my time with, and really fall in love with the characters in the world. And if you're on the fence about reading this novel, I say just give it a go. Like, take it from me. Take it from someone who doesn't like slow, boring novels. Take it from someone who usually gets turned off from a book pretty quickly and has a hard time pushing through. And also, take it from me for believing that I wasn't really ready for this novel for a long time. That's another thing I wanted to touch on, is that it was actually, it's been easier to read than I ever thought it would be. I really thought that A Game of Thrones would either be very complex, it would drag, it would meander, it would get caught up in, like big words and just whatever else that makes a book monotonous to read or a chore. But the vocabulary in this is very manageable, easy, I would say, obviously. I mean, I don't feel like I struggle much with vocabulary, especially when you read on a Kindle, you can just define a word. But I definitely thought that it would meander and take its time and in a really boring way, but it didn't. And that's what was so incredible about this novel, in my opinion, is that it's getting right to the point, and it's not treating you like a child, but it's also not like treating you like, oh, I don't give a fuck about you, I'm just gonna like tell my story and you're gonna have to figure it out along the way. Like, no, it's very, very easy to follow. That doesn't mean that it's a dumb novel or whatever else. It's just smooth. It's easy to comprehend. It's easy to picture in your mind. I have a very easy time following this, and I don't know exactly why that is, but my only suspicion is that Martin has some background in screenwriting. So I think he was a television writer, to be specific. Now, I don't know if I have my history correct. I don't know if like he was a television writer before Game of Thrones or after. I don't know the exact details, but I do know that the way this reads is very screenplay-esque, very television-esque, movie-esque. Like it feels like I can visually see, I'm watching a movie in my head, but more importantly, the level at which I can comprehend it easily, like just the way everything's explained easily, the way that it reads, it's super easy to follow, it's super manageable. That is the biggest reason why I think it's very screenplay-esque, because it doesn't have a lot of fluff. It doesn't have a lot of, describing the grass, the blades of grass on the ground, or just giving you a bunch of bullshit details that you might not really care about or need. I felt like that. God, Lee, I'm getting smoked out bad. I feel like that's been probably the best part about this novel to me, is just how manageable it has been. So I don't know how many more thoughts I have on it for these first 100 pages. Like, I'm not super far into it, so I can't say whether or not the whole book is this good, but I would assume so. I would assume it's only going to get better. And I would assume that the next 3 books, the next 4 books, whatever, I think there's 5 in the whole series, but at least the next 3 books that I plan on reading, maybe not back to back, but I assume all 3 of them are just get better and better and better. Like, I just assume one after another, it just keeps getting crazier. So let me know if you guys have read A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm kind of just rambling, kind of just, talking here and having a good time, just staring at this fire. You got the sunset over there. Life's good. Things are great. And this book just makes everything better. I mean, nothing, in my opinion, is better in life than when you find a good book at the right time. Like, that's what it's all about. And so far, A Game of Thrones has been that for me. I'm so happy I finally gave this book a shot. I'm so happy I just went straight for it and dove in. And it's rewarded me so far. I'm having an absolute blast. I'm loving it. It's just, you guys got to give it a shot if you haven't. Stop wasting time and just go for A Song of Ice and Fire. Now, I know this series is unfinished, and that is a massive, massive bummer. That does stink. And it's the funniest thing that, like, literally all my favorite series are unfinished. I guess except, like, A Wizard of Earthsea, but, King Killer Chronicle, now this. Like, of course I'm hooked on both these series that are unfinished that I absolutely love. But it is what it is. At least we have a few books, and you've got the show, and I'm not gonna, I think, watch like the last 2 seasons. I think it's like 7 and 8 maybe. Not gonna watch those. Forget about them. I'm gonna watch everything up to it though, but I'm gonna read the first 3 books first, then I'm gonna get the box set in 4K, watch that at home, have a great time with it. Super excited. But at least so far, early takeaway, early review, early thoughts, this book is special. A Game of Thrones is special. And it's rare for me to find a book like this that I love this quickly. That's how important it feels. Like there's something about it. Doesn't matter how, like, whether it's how easy it is to read, whether it's the really, you know, enjoyable and depthful characters, or even just like getting into a new world that feels real and lived in. I can't tell which I love the most, but it's been incredible so far. In these first 100 pages, this has been truly one of the best introductions to a fantasy book and a series that I've ever come across. It knows what it wants to do, and that's why I say it takes itself seriously. You guys might not know what I mean by that, but what I mean by that is it knows what it wants to do. It knows where it wants to go. The whole world is planned out beforehand. It's not messing around and wasting time and trying to find its way. It's like, okay, let's just jump right into this shit and go. Like it, and also just like, if you love royal dramas, so there hasn't been a ton of magic, like literally, I would argue 0 magic, but a lot of fantasy. Like you can just tell they're in a fantasy world, even though we haven't seen the dragons yet, even though we haven't seen any magic yet, but it gives fantasy vibes. So don't be worried about that part if you are worried about, oh, there's not enough fantasy, because I know I was at least, but it's not like I've missed the magic. Like I don't need magic from what I've read so far. I'm just really enjoying seeing these family dynamics play out, and kind of like I said, the chess pieces, like everything kind of being moved in a range that I know it's all gonna blow up eventually. And then to build up to the magic, because I'm super excited for that. Because I also heard that the magic in the books is like way more present and way crazier than the show, which makes sense. You know, you have a budget with the show, and with a novel, you can kind of do whatever you want. But at least for me, I felt like it hasn't been like a negative. You know, I've enjoyed the hell out of this book no matter what. So yeah, if like I said, if you're worried, just go for it and don't look back, because I'm not even personally a fan of royal dramas. I'm really not. Like royal families and royal politics, like that kind of shit never interests me. Like, let me tell you, I could not, like if you told me I had to watch a whole season of Bridgerton, kill me. I would never want to watch that. I do not enjoy royal politics, period. But this has definitely changed my mind. I'm like, but I don't know, maybe it's just because this is so well written, but I'm like actually like curious, like, oh wow, like who's gonna get the throne? Like why have these families acted this way, or how did these relationships come to be? Like it's awesome. Like I'm totally hooked. I'm totally enamored, and I can't wait to see how these characters grow and change. So anywho, I think that's it for me. I'm just gonna read, enjoy this beer, enjoy this fire, enjoy this weather, and yeah, that's pretty much it. A Game of Thrones, give it a go. First 100 pages, green light from me. I absolutely adore it, and I think all of you guys should read it too. So give it a go. Leave a comment down below whether you have read it, whether you are planning to read it, any of your thoughts, whether or not this video changed your mind. I hope to hear about it. I really want to know what you guys think of this series. I've heard a lot of great things. Obviously, it's so popular, but just specifically from you guys. So yeah, can't wait to hear from you guys. Going to continue to get smoked out, unfortunately. But I'm just going to sit here and read. And you guys are welcome to read as well. And just going to enjoy the fire and let it ride for a little bit longer. So thank you guys for watching. That's it for me. And see you guys in the next one.